Hi, Terrell. So thanks so much for being part of this session. I just wanted to go over, a couple of tips that you've shared already with IPC staff and others about the best way to conduct an individual meeting.
Mhm.
And so I wanted us to start off with one question, what are the elements of a good individual meeting?
Oh, great. So again, thank you so much for inviting me, or should I say re-inviting me. The environment is a very, very important part of my life. Being from St. Louis and living close to the Mississippi, everything centered around that river where I live, about a mile from it, actually. So anytime you all call on me around environmental issues, I run because we have built a relationship. And that's what this is really about. The individual meeting is the beginning of a relationship, right? When we talk about having individual meetings with people, we're trying to say there is something of a jewel here, and how are we connected to it? What are the stories connected to this jewel? What are the dreams, hopes, and admirations do you have for this jewel? And what is your connection? What is your connection? Like I said, my connection to the Mississippi really was every year, probably two or three times a year. We have cookouts right on the riverbank with my family, and because we were very poor, that was the only time that I can remember us being together and enjoying ourselves away from all the stress and tension of coming up in a project. And so the river, the water was very, very important. So if you want to know me, you got to get to know the importance of that water connection to my life. And if there's an issue around that river, I'm one of the people that you want to talk to, because I'll do whatever it takes to help preserve that memory of the river. So the individual meeting really is about the beginning of building a relationship and finding out in 30 to 45 minutes, one-on-one, can I find out what are your stories around it? What are your dreams, hopes, and admirations for this community and this career? And that is the beginning of human beings sharing one of God's creations, whether it be water or grass places, green spaces, or anything like that, to say we want to preserve that because that's a part of who we are.
Yeah,
And
so
the
it sounds
individual
to me,
meeting is the beginning.
yeah, I mean, it sounds to me as though, this is it's a good opportunity to maybe gain some insights on, all the individuals, because you might know someone, but you may not know their story until you
Absolutely.
do the individual meeting with them.
Absolutely. What is the story behind your love for this water? What's the story?
Yeah. Could you say a little bit more about, what's the best way to structure an individual meeting? Like, what are the things that, an individual as a team leader should think about when they're planning and conducting these individual meetings?
Wait, I think that's a great question, because I think the beginning is the one thing that people think when we go into institutions. Let's say that I'm working with a faith leader, a pastor, uh, and I ask the question, who are the leaders in your institution? In many cases, they call out the same names no matter what the issues are. The same, 20 is that old adage that 20% of the people do 80% of the work, right? We believe that's the wrong way to think of leaders. Leaders pop up based on their self-interest, right? So if I go to an institutional leader and I say, I'm here, that we're thinking about a green team, we're thinking about building a green team. Who are the people in this institution you think I should talk to?
Mm-hmm.
And when they give me the list, what I want to do is say, why did you choose these people? Because I want to find out, does that leader know enough that they know that this person has a connection to the environment? They care about the environment. They talk about the environment, not someone that loves doing busy work all the time. One, right? Always moving around and doing everything, and half the time complaining about what they're done. We're trying to find those leaders who enjoy the environment, and we want to spend 30 to 45 minutes with them one-on-one, and we want to build a public relationship. It's not about a friendship. It's about a public relationship. And the difference between the friendship and the relationship is that a public relationship is tied by accountability. We want to build a relationship of trust so we can count on each other to achieve something. A private relationship is built with other things, but this is about accountability. Can I count on you to build this great green team and expand it to other people in the neighborhood so we can take care of this treasure?
So when you finally get those 35 minutes, how should you structure, or plan for, how you'll spend the time in order to achieve your goals for the
So in a good individual meeting, I always say is 80% listening, 20% talking.
Mhm.
So for me, it's like I ask for the meeting because I want to get to know you. I want to know who you are. I want to know where you come from. I want to know why are you here. I want to know how does your kids feel about the environment. I want to know how do you feel about this neighborhood that you live in. I want to know what are your ties to this neighborhood. I want to know what are your dreams, what are your aspirations. And last but and certainly not least, I want to know what are you willing to do to create whatever it is that we're talking about. What are you willing to do? Because you'll find that if you have someone that says to you, you're having this individual meeting with them and things are going pretty well, and you get to the point where you say, so one of the things I would love to do, I would like to meet other people like you here in your community. Can you line me up with 3 people and do what we call credentialing? Can you credential me? Can you give me the name of 3 people and then call them and let them know that I will be calling them to do the same thing I'm doing with you, and that's understand your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. If they respond, well, I got a lot of work to do, and it's like, you just told me the environment was really important to you, and it's important that you leave the environment better than you got it, and you want to leave it better for your children. But I have a whole lot of work, so who do you think we should count on to take care of our environment when we're really busy?
Right. So it
It
sounds
has
to
to be
me,
us.
yeah. So it sounds to me as though you always want to have an ask, and you might during the conversation find out that this actually is not the person to ask for, active participation because they might be spread too thin. But at the very least, the ask could be for them to recommend 2 or 3 additional people.
I always ask for 2 or 3 additional people because that's the way you will build the web. It will take you meeting 80 people to get to that 8 or 9 people who really cares about the environment, who really loves the environment and will do anything to save it. And those are the people we're looking for. But just like a diamond in the rough, we got to have a lot of individual meetings before we get to them. And so it really is about patience. It's about understanding if you want to build a house, you got to build the house slowly. If you want to build a green team, you can't rush and build the team. You got to get to know the people and decide based on what I've learned about this person over 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 individual meetings. I know that this person is a leader and they will attract other people because that's what leaders are. Mm-hmm. Leaders are people who attract other people. There's no such thing as a leader walking by themselves.
Thanks so much for being part of this conversation, Terrell. Your insights are really invaluable, and I'm glad you've been able to join us.
Well, I just want to say thanks to IPC for the great work that you do. I'm an organizer, and my job is to organize our most valuable resource, and that is human beings, and yours is our other most valuable resource, and that's our earth. And I just say thank you. And you can call on me anytime.
Thank you.